Hello, everyone.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Oh my. It seems odd. I know where both of you are, and I could probably throw a stone to your house, Julie.
Yeah,
And here we are on this crazy computer thing.
I know. Yeah, and if you couldn't throw the rock all the way, it could roll the rest way down the hill.
Right. Yeah.
I see you're out at East Point again.
Yeah, I should get a new picture, I guess.
No, I like it. I like the ocean.
I do too. It makes me a little nuts that somehow Zoom makes this mirror image.
Oh, true. Well, wait a minute. Is it mirrored to you or?
I-
Ah,
when I'm looking at the video representation of me, it's a mirror image because the walkway is over here to my right. It's over my right shoulder. Whereas if I were looking at it in the real world, it would be over there. I suppose I could fix it by making the image mirror image.
no,
It's way too much trouble.
it's fine. It could be.
Kind of hoping that Judy will join us. She's the author. And I have a hard stop at 8:30 tonight.
Oh, that works for me.
Yeah, so I mean, you're certainly welcome to keep on going, but I'm gonna have to drop.
I'd love it if we could just keep it moving and get it all done.
Who is just D? Is just D Dewitt?
I know he was there a second ago. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
But it kept telling me he was still trying to connect, so. There's Laura.
Laura. Hi, everyone.
Hi there.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I actually forgot that we had a meeting tonight. So I didn't bring my computer home.
On time.
All right, no worries.
Hello there.
Hi, Dewitt.
Very backlit.
Yes.
Dana, where are you? You look like you're in like a hobbit castle.
It's in a Van Gogh room.
Okay, good.
Good, Deborah. It's actually, it's my bedroom, and I've made it look like the painting.
Uh-huh.
Not really.
You have both of your ears.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Oh my gosh, you're in a yellow room.
Yeah, it's yellower at night.
All right. Well, I think we have more than a quorum. So present from the Finance Committee, Bob Vanderslice, Julie Tarmy, Dana Sheehan, Deborah Warren, Judy Zahora, guest Tony Barletta, the Town Administrator, Michelle Capano, and DeWitt Brown. DeWitt, it's only because you're way on the right-hand side in my Zoom thing here.
I'm next to you.
This meeting of the Finance and Advisory Committee is in session. So, let's do minutes first.
Sure. I have the minutes from December 29. Is that the right one? Yes, December 29. I sent them out to everybody in good time, so hopefully you had a chance to look at them because I didn't hear from too many people.
So moved.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Zohar, aye.
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 Okay. Sounds like a unanimous vote in favor.
Now, do we need to do a separate vote to include your analysis from last week? Or should we have accepted these minutes with that analysis?
There was no question on it.
No,
I think let me look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure you just have to, I don't know if you have to vote, but you certainly should state that you are attaching the document to the minutes. Let me double check real quick.
And I honestly don't know.
we had to do it when
Yeah.
we're in the minute.
Maybe we should acquire a copy of Robert's Rules of Order. No, I was serious about that. And I assume we are governed by Robert's rules and not town meeting times.
Bob, it's actually up to, and I talked to about that. And it's up to us to decide. And David's,
Well, you're governed by open meeting law. It's town meeting that is governed by one of
Town
the,
meeting.
Tony, clarification on that. It's what we decide. We could decide to go with Robert's rules as a committee, or we can decide to go with the town meeting time book, which is what Dave Conlon suggested.
but I think Robert's rules and town meeting time are all regarding town meeting form of government. You as a committee, like in these meetings here, you're governed by the open meeting law.
Yes, we are, but Robert's rules is designed for any sort of group meeting. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of
So
It should be Robert's rules and open meeting.
It would be an added layer of rules or procedure.
yeah. I mean, that's what governs the order of motions and all of that stuff. What happens in the case of a tie? What's a quorum? What's a majority vote in the case you don't have the full complement of committee members? All of that is in Robert's rules. And I don't know whether it's in town meeting times or not. So my preference would be Robert's rules, and certainly open meeting law. We're clearly bound by that.
I actually like Bob's rules. But anyway, maybe we should tee this up in a meeting, a process meeting we've talked about recently, where we decide what rules we're going to operate under and other, issues that how to operate and to work through this process.
Yep.
I think it would help all of us. And
Right. So should we add that to like a running list that we'll take up at our next meeting?
Could I make a motion that we accept that the FinCom adheres to Robert rules and to the open meeting law?
You are certainly welcome to make a motion.
actually, before we get to that point, making a motion, can I ask the committee to consider schedule a meeting for process where we would decide these issues?
That's on our agenda for tonight, is to talk about the process.
That's what we're doing, right?
Work on the process of how we'll go through the warrant book. So the process how we're going to go through it.
So, Mr. Chairman, before you guys take a step further, I did look that up on the open. So your first motion was to accept the minutes. And I'll just share my screen real quick on regarding the documents and exhibits used during a meeting. And it says here that while public bodies must identify in the minutes all documents and exhibits used at a meeting and must retain them in accordance with the Secretary of Commonwealth's Records Retention. The documents and exhibits do not need to be attached to or physically stored with the minutes. It's not a requirement. So as long as your minutes state that you referred to, you can attach them to your minutes. You don't have to take a separate vote for that. Or you don't have to attach them to your minutes.
Thank you.
So I would say complete
What
that.
was the document you were looking at on the screen there?
I just Google, I just Googled
Okay.
Massachusetts Open Meeting Law Guide and Educational Materials. And it comes from Attorney General Mauro Healy's office, and it was published in January of 2018. So I can send you that link, or I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. All
So
right.
one point two on town meeting time, the book is available in the library for those that want to review it.
Time meeting time, okay. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Oh, Town meeting time, okay.
So what? So DeWitt made a motion. There is no second to the motion yet. Is there a second? All right.
The
so-
motion was to accept the, yeah, I second that.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor made and seconded to accept Robert's Rules of Order as the guiding. I'm searching for a word,
And the open meeting.
rules.
And
Yeah,
the
oh,
open
sorry,
meeting. Yeah.
and open meeting law, yeah. Both of them together. So discussion on that?
I'm not specifically opposed to that, but I think the committee, especially me, might benefit from reviewing town meeting time. And Dave Conlon, the town moderator, suggested we consider that as an alternative to Robert's rules, because it coincides with what happens at the town meeting. So that's how they operate the town meeting. He suggested it would be helpful for us to operate under those rules as well.
When did he do that? When did the moderator just suggest that we do that?
When?
Yes?
Within the last 6 months.
I hadn't heard him say that, so I'm just curious about where that came from.
Are you all familiar with Robert's Rules and or town meeting time and the procedure that's put out in each of them?
Robert's rules are somewhat, but town meeting time is new to me.
Me too.
I've read both of them, and there are some contradictions. You either have to pick one or the other. I like Robert Rules because it's generic.
I am certainly more familiar with Robert's Rules, and I know there are differences, but I couldn't tell you what they are.
Unless there are one or two really substantial differences, then I don't know why we wouldn't go with Roberts.
Well, we have a motion and a second.
Do we want to, let's vote on this one. So all in favor of DeWitt's motion, which would be to adopt Robert's rules and the open meeting law, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And you gotta do this with names here so I can,
Right.
both Julie and I can keep track of this.
Do you want to do it alphabetically? Does that help you? Because I'm the last one.
Well,
What's easiest for you, Bob?
Who's first? Brown's first. Aye.
Sam, Dana?
We're going by first name here? Okay.
Oh, first name.
I said Sheehan, so I figured I'd try Dana.
All right.
Deborah, I, but are we going first name?
Oh,
Abby,
So
good.
we're going by last name, so we went Brown and it jumped to Sheehan.
There are very few of us in the beginning of the alphabet, We're all in the alphabetic ghettos here.
It seems like everybody's comfortable with Robert's rules, so I'll go forward with that. Yes.
Okay, Carmy, aye. Bob,
Oh, gosh, am I next? I'm usually at the very end.
Warren,
Deborah.
I.
Laura,
Finally.
Judy
Judy.
here, you'll
aye.
never be
Get
at the
this
end.
straight.
Okay,
Never
so
be at the end again with Judy here.
unanimous.
it is unanimous in favor. We will be using Robert's rules and the open meeting law.
Thank you.
Okay,
That was quick. Hey, one other thing, Bob. I know we're in administrative matters on our agenda. Is that right?
Yep.
Part of the organization of this committee includes position of a chairman and also includes a secretary. Is that something we want to have somebody become the secretary, or is it? a position we
That's
wanna
me.
pass?
That's right.
I am the secretary.
Did we vote on that?
I've been doing it for a couple of years. Do we have to do it every year?
Is there anybody else who wants to do that job? All right, well, in that case, I make a motion that Julie remains
well, thank
secretary.
you.
Second.
Second,
Seconded.
That second, that went fast enough.
Once.
All right, all in favor. Let's see if we can just all say aye and have no dissension here.
Aye.
Aye.
Hello. Aye.
All right, sounds like unanimous vote in favor. Congratulations, Julie.
Yeah,
So,
And more than that, thank you, Julie.
so
You're
Mr. Chairman, through you to the board, and while I don't think you'll have any argument on that last vote, your future votes, anything on Zoom, based on the public meeting law, open meeting laws, it does need to be by roll call. So I don't think you have to redo that vote, but in the future, if you guys, if it's easier to stick to the same order and, Julie reads out the name and people, vote one way or the other.
Okay,
That's the
Thank
way to
you.
go, just for the official, by the rule of the open meeting law.
Okay.
okay. All right, so we had two remaining things on our agenda. One was just so that we're clear about our process as we get into this, to the kind of rhythm of looking at the various department budgets. And two, to review the citizens petition guidance that Judy drafted and sent over. I'd like to add a third, which we may want to just briefly discuss and then save for a subsequent meeting, which is just some guidelines and procedures for how and when the stabilization fund can or should be used, since it's steadily growing, and we need some kind of policy for exactly how and when we use that. But let's deal with the two. So let's take Judy's document first. So the idea here was, let's do Zoom.
Can I share my screen? I'm happy to edit as we talk.
Yeah, good. That save my horrible typing skills.
All right, let's go here. All right, so it's everybody sent it out. I did get a comment, I think it was from Debbie, that I move a couple of bullets around, which I did. And this is just, the goal is it to be a one page. So starting out with definitions, which is what is a citizen's petition, and then what's a warrant article, and then best practice. Before starting the process, I recommend that you meet with the board or town committee as applicable. Then you start early, leave enough time. An article must include the following items to be discussed, clear scope, what the action is. And then articles must be submitted by deadline established by the Board of Selectmen. And in the Natick handbook, there was a link to here to collect, obtain form. So if we're going to put this on the website, perhaps we want to do that or not. That's why it's highlighted in yellow. Submission, then going on, submission of petition articles must be made to the town clerk no later than the deadline. And once submitted, going on, and then clarity is important. As once published, any town meeting discussion can only be within the scope of the article. And then it talks about the number of registered voters, numbers of signatures needed. And then the petitioner must submit the motion for an article to the moderator at least 1 week prior to the meeting. I probably should say prior to the town meeting. The wording of the motion does not have to be the same as the warrant article. Assistance with writing the article of the motions is available from town officials. And I think, Tony, you said that you would be giving that kind of assistance to Vast. And if that's not true, then we can pull that out. And then the Board of Selectmen is responsible for determining the order of the articles of the warrant. And then just a resource if people want to know where that is. So it's just a quick 1 page.
Yep.
Anybody have any input, what they want to say, anything at all?
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in. This is a combination of just nits or formatting stuff and some substantive stuff. Can we take the 2 definitions, citizens petitions and warrant article, and make them bullets?
Can do.
See what I mean? So that they look, yeah, like that. Perfect.
There's little we can't do that in Word. It's all good.
There you go. That's good.
All right. Does that still give us 1 page?
Ooh,
Dang it.
get rid of the space between the 2.
All right, let's see if that does it.
That works, because you've got it bolded.
Ooh, not quite.
Well, okay, one of the things I'm going to come to, we may lose some stuff in here. So let's try.
Okay.
Let me try that. Kind of in the middle, it says there's a bullet that says articles must be submitted by the deadline established by the Board of Selectmen. Submission must be made to the town clerk no later than the deadline established by. Those 2 seem
Okay. We can take this one out.
Yeah, that's what confused me, Judy, when I wrote you that stuff about those bullets about deadlines.
We could take that one out and just say,
and then, yeah, and then
this
move that to below. Yeah, yeah.
to here.
Mr. Chairman, I'm, respecting that I'm not a member of your committee, but would you like me to jump in on a couple of these as you?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
So the deadline is not established by the Board of Selectmen. I believe it's in the town charter. It's either in the charter or the bylaws that says citizen petition or committee articles must be submitted by January 31st, I believe. Let me pull that up on a different screen. And
Well, if you know the date, let's just put it in.
Exactly. If we know the date, let's.
Okay, let me look that up. Well, you guys keep going.
Reference the actual bylaw itself, the specific article.
Yeah, you can put the date as stated in
Yeah.
section blah, let me look it up. You guys can keep.
I mean, I'd rather just, I'm trying to keep it as easy to read as possible.
Mhm.
True,
I don't
but
want to have people reference out.
yeah, we do want this to be maintainable in the sense that if it changes, then we're gonna have to come back and have to change this.
Sure. What else, while Tony's looking, what else did you want to change, Bob?
I'm just, it seems like we need just a little bit of clarity on the difference between the article and the motion. I'm not sure everyone really understands that.
Good definition of article, if you can scroll to the top. Right.
So what's a motion, guys? What would we say for definition of motion?
Isn't the motion the verbiage that winds up in the warrant?
But yeah, it's the words
How about that?
that are actually voted on by the town meeting.
How about the words given to the moderator to address the town meeting? To present a warrant article at the town meeting.
Yeah, I think the concept
Spelling.
is that the motion is what's actually voted on is important. It's the motion that's voted up, up or down by the town meeting. So the warrant article is, a notice that something within this topic is going to be discussed and voted on at town meeting. The motion is the action that you want the town meeting to take.
You being,
And I'm not an attorney, and I don't even play one on TV.
Yeah, but we don't want attorney-esque either. How
Right.
about, does this, can you read this? Is it big enough?
Yeah. For me,
Motion is really not given to the moderator. It's what is pronounced by the people at the meeting that's been voted on. It's sort of, wasn't it sort of an act of
it's like a proposal to be voted on, isn't it?
yeah. Yes. But it's verbiage at the town meeting that's spoken from the podium.
Which is always the moderator.
I don't know if the moderator does.
So we don't want moderator. So a proposal from the podium of something to be voted on, but
Author.
all right, here we go. Robert's rules. A motion is the topic under discussion.
oh, nice.
Good
I'm
show.
that we add a coffee break to this meeting after being recognized by the president of the board, which in town meeting is the moderator.
No, moderator.
Any member can introduce a motion when no other motion is on the table. See, that's
About this, the proposal by the author presented at the town meeting. The motion is a topic of discussion, what will be voted on during the town meeting.
There you go.
That's perfect, I think. I vote for that one.
Yep. Each motion must be disposed of, and it could be passed, defeated, tabled, referred to committee, or postponed indefinitely.
All right, I think that helps clear up the difference between the two.
Yep, but we've probably gone over a page again.
Yeah, but we'll work that through. Okay,
I
so,
found the reference for the deadline
okay,
when you're ready.
ready.
So it is going to be section 3 of Article 2 of the general government bylaws.
Yeah, I don't really want to put that in, Tony. What is the answer?
January 31st. So
Okay.
all petitions for insertions of articles in the warrant for the annual town meeting shall be filed with the Board of Selectmen on or before the 31st day of January. Because that's what it says in section 3.
It's only for an annual town meeting. It's different for a special town meeting, but I'm not sure we need to split that here.
Well, you could make
Petition
this specific to annual town meeting.
So can we get that chapter and verse in here somewhere, maybe in a reference at the bottom?
We want to go to one page.
No, I really don't, like, there's a lot of references. Listen, guys, I'll do whatever you want, but there's a lot of references that we could put in here. And as soon as we start putting references in, we get a 15-page document, like, nah, like,
I'm with you, Judy.
Right.
Simplicity is what it,
Like to see it. I mean, I don't understand this. Just could you please put it at the bottom under references?
Judy, you could put in parentheses, A.2, S.3.
I'm sorry, what do you want, what is that, Tony?
A.2, S.3. Maybe put a space in between the, yeah.
Okay. Submission of petition articles for the annual town meeting must be made to the town clerk no later than the 31st day of January.
And
Okay.
it's actually to the Board of Selectmen, not to the town clerk.
Okay. Once submitted, the article will appear on the town meeting warrant exactly as submitted, including spelling and punctuation. Probably written articles submitted too late for necessary modifications must still be printed in the town meeting warrant. We might be able to make that shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need improperly because it's implied,
Yeah.
or just, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Articles submitted too late. Submitted written articles.
what's
Actually,
that
that's
say? Because if it's submitted too late, it wouldn't be included.
well, no, for modifications is what that means. So if you write something that reads
On the 31st.
technically, bad punctuation, bad spelling, it's going to go in as it was given.
Right. We can't change the wording.
Well, you might not even need that second sentence at all in that situation. Somewhat implied, right? So if
Get rid of it so you decrease it to one
I
page.
agree, yes, brevity.
Once submitted, the article will appear on the town meeting exactly as submitted, including, okay, that does it. Good. All right, good. Clarity is important. Once published, any town meeting discussion can only be within the scope of the article.
Mhm.
Did we say article already? Yeah, article. It's not the right one.
Going back a little bit, just one comment that I know you guys had brought up last year was as far as items that, are like should be included in a petitioned article in order to get a recommendation from the FinCom was the source of funds. So you have here item.
Oh, that's smart.
What action is required. Now, you're kind of describing what should be in the article itself. And what I'm saying is, I guess, in order to get a recommendation from the FinCom. I mean, it's up to you, but that's where you guys were hung up a lot last year was, how am I supposed to recommend one way or the other when I don't know where the money's coming from?
When the article is requesting money, requesting funds. Yep.
Oh, Judy, you're a good typist.
Oh, yeah, well, that's how I paid for all my education, guys, I'm just saying. Okay. So clarity is important, 10 registered voters. I must sign petition for the government laws.
Yeah. Do we need the second bullet there? The 200 signatures are required to call the special town meeting. I mean, it's a true statement, but I'm not sure it's really relevant to.
The petitions?
I don't know. I just thought it was so interesting, I left it in.
I mean, it is certainly an interesting tidbit.
Yeah. Are you saying that maybe we don't want to rock that boat?
It's
No,
in the bylaw. this is all written in the bylaws. So,
Maybe we don't need this. 10 registered, let's start here. 10 registered voters of the town must sign the petition. Maybe I take this out because I'm not referenced for the petition to become a warrant article and include it for the town meeting.
Yep.
And it is recommended to secure more than the minimum required signatures in case any signature is ineligible and or signers are not qualified as registered voters. Right, signatures of 100 registered voters are required to insert an article into warrant for a special town meeting that's been scheduled by the Board of Selectmen. You know, we probably have to, every time we use the word warrant, do you think that should be capitalized?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
To be consistent.
yes. Look at you.
I knew that wasn't, okay. So do you want to leave it in, or you want to take it out?
I don't know, my proposal would be get rid of the 200 signatures are required because it's not really, to me, it's not relevant to citizens petitions.
I'd agree with that. Bob.
Yeah. What an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, and no, it is. I'm not, yeah. And then take that single bullet and just make it part of the previous paragraph. It doesn't need to be a bullet.
Well, I think it just makes it easier to read.
Makes it easier to read, but on the other hand, technically, you're not supposed to have only one bullet. Because if
Oh,
you're going to subdivide, but I mean, that's just,
Yep, see?
all right, well, I mean, that makes sense, but it's a lot. So
yeah, I
10
know. And I think legibility prevails. Oh, it can trumps, you know.
Technicality.
and I have to correct myself. That's law. That's not, the number of signatures required for a citizen petition article and the number of signatures required to call for a special town meeting is Mass General Law. It's not in our bylaw.
Did you say it's not in our bylaws?
Correct. I don't
So-
see it there.
The 100 registered voters not required? Or-
It is required by general law.
Okay.
I had stated that it's in our bylaws, but looking through them, I don't see it there. So it is a state law, not town law.
And Tony, one more thing. How about the 10 registered voters above? Is that in our bylaw or is that in the?
That's state law.
I don't want to be too nitpicky, but we've deleted that business about the 200 for a special town meeting. What if the petition would require a special town meeting? Is there such a?
That's the
case?
10. That's the 10. So if it's
Now,
a,
That's
So you
gonna
want-
come-
So
No,
this is,
no, the 10 registered voters law, that requirement is, what do you have? Signatures of 100 registered voters are required to insert an article into the warrant for a special town meeting. Right, the 10 registered voters is for annual town meeting.
yes.
so since we took out the other special town meeting, should we take this one out?
Well, it's different.
It depends on what, this document, is this document to guide the FinCom as to, how you will be reviewing and recommending articles that come before you? Because
No,
the-
This
No,
isn't.
that's not the- I guess we
for
should have been
citizens.
clear about the purpose. The purpose of this is so that anybody who wants to put an article in understands it. It's just a quick cheat sheet is if you have something you want to put up in front of vote, how do you do it?
Okay,
So, well, okay, so just
So-
hear me out, because some of this is stream of consciousness. So
Sure.
suppose we kind of rewrote it as you must collect signatures from 10 registered voters. for your petition to become a warrant article and be included in the regular annual town meeting. For
Might
a
be for the-
special, for a special town meeting, you must collect 100 signatures. And then,
Let me,
It's further subdivided though, isn't it, if I understand? If the town, a special town meeting has already been scheduled, you just need 100. If we're going to require for your petition another yet unscheduled meeting,
yes,
then you need 200. Is that important?
you,
That's what I understood before.
yeah, and Tony, jump on me if this is incorrect, but what I believe the way it would roll out was you would need 200 signatures to call the special town meeting.
Yes, right.
And then you would need, as a separate thing, you would need 100 signatures on your proposed warrant article for that special town meeting.
Why don't we have a big black bullet that says special town meetings and then put these subtypes underneath it? Because it's, special town meeting with 100 and then with maybe if we want to do the 200, makes it clearer that it's a special town meeting. Right, that would go below.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Or even better might be, you must collect 10 signatures on the official form.
Yeah.
okay, so looking at the Citizens Guide to Town Meeting published by the Secretary of State, and I'll put the link in the chat.
Are we recreating the wheel, Tony?
Well, that guide is, it's multi-page, it's not one page. So you're simplifying it.
We want a cheat sheet, as Judy said.
Petition.
So the answer is voters may call a special town meeting. They need 200 registered voters, or 20% of the total number of registered voters, whichever is less, can request a special town meeting. 10 registered voters for an article in an annual town meeting, and 100, as you have it written, 100 signatures for an article on a special town meeting.
Oh,
Or
On
10
that 10 registered voters bullet, why don't we say for an annual town meeting to begin the bullet, perhaps? And it helps make the distinction between the two types. See what I mean? For an annual town meeting, yeah, something like that, 10.
Annual town meeting, you must collect 10 signatures on the official form. And submit it to who? The clerk, I guess.
It's somewhere.
selectmen.
Selectmen, sorry, you told us that already, didn't
I've already
you?
said that down.
She's captured it somewhere.
That's all right.
Registered voters must sign a petition for the petition to become a warrant article and can be included. For the meeting. Oh, no. I think we just said that. The recommended is to more than a minute requires signatures in case any signatures. So those are okay. We'll submit the motion for the articles to the moderator as soon prior to town meeting. This is the writing articles.
I don't think we need to say voters of the town in that bullet there.
Just
Says-
registered.
And registered voters must sign.
Where's that?
It's the bullet for an annual, yeah, that one. I think we don't,
Registered voters. Lovely. There goes some words. Must sign it. Okay. Petitioner must submit the motion. Okay. Does that make sense? Maybe we need to put this one up a little bit. So we talk about start early, we talk about getting assistance. Then we talk about the submission. This probably needs to move up.
I think the 10 registered voters thing has to move up before the submission one. What's the order?
So, assistance in writing articles, submission. Okay. Assistance in writing articles, so.
Goes right, yeah, right there.
Right there, that makes sense. Submission, petitioner, submit motion. Maybe it goes here, right? Warrant articles first. And then motion. Well, I think that flows better.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's start again.
All right. Once more.
Definition. A warrant article. Brought by citizens, okay, so warrant article motion. Starting the petition, we recommend you meet with the board or town committee to gain feedback, advice, and support. It may be that the noted issue would be taken up and driven by the board or committee as a warrant article. Leave enough time to allow for review and edits. An article must include the following items to be discussed: clear scope, what actions requested. Clarity is important, as once published, any town meeting discussion can only be within the scope of the article. That one to me is really important because sometimes they draft source of funds when the article will require funds to execute. Assistance in writing of articles and motions is available from town officials. Town administrator, town moderator, and other officials and staff are available to discuss and if necessary assist. I think we just said that. Necessary to assess the petitioner. Maybe we don't need that. No, petitioners are responsible for the final wording in the accompanying motion. Okay, ensuring that all legal requirements are met. For an annual town meeting, 10 registered voters must sign a petition for the petition to become a warrant article. It's recommended to secure more than the required number of signatures in case any. Okay, submission of petition articles for the annual town meeting must be made to the Board of Selectmen no later than the 31st day of January. Once submitted, the article will appear on a town warrant exactly as submitted, including spelling and punctuation.
Or misspelling and punctuation.
The Board of Selectmen is responsible for determining the order of the articles in the warrant. Petitioner must submit the motion for the article to the moderator at least 1 week prior to town meeting. Oh, that's probably big M, right? The wording of the motion does not have to be the same as the warrant article. If the motion does not change the wording, does not change the wording of the article, the motion could request that the article be adopted as printed in the warrant. Okay. Special town meeting signatures of 100 registered voters are required to insert an article into the warrant for a special town meeting that has already been scheduled. 200 signatures are required to call a special town meeting. How interesting is that?
One other suggestion, I think maybe the Board of Selectmen determining the order of the articles goes at the very end. I mean, the order is a different idea.
All right. Come on.
Judy, in the bullet that starts with submission of petition articles, you want to capitalize annual town meeting?
It might need yet another fluff, guys. Yeah, Tony, this doesn't solve the problem, and this was something that Dana was talking about earlier, I think, Dana. This doesn't solve the problem of what we will or will not back. And that's something we probably need to decide tonight once we get through this, so.
And you didn't quite finish that edit with the annual town meeting.
I didn't. No, I didn't, but I did lose track, didn't I?
And
Okay, thank you. Let's practice, maybe. I'm gonna move that spot. Did I do it? Yeah. We are so dang close.
Well, you can get rid of some of the white space at the top. Don't we have a bit of?
Oh, I could take this out, the disclaimer.
Yes, you should.
Let's not put that up there, okay? Completely borrowed without shame.
There you go.
Fits perfectly. So Jenny, with it, can they get a form downloaded, or do they have to go to the office for it?
They should contact the town clerk's office.
All right.
One little nit about the title, I think I would maybe hyphenate the how-to show that it's kind of it's a word for guidelines, yeah. I don't know, that looks funny. I don't know. Which looks better? Yeah, that's good.
Looks funny with a hyphen, although it might be correct.
It looks worse, yeah, I agree. We could put guidelines, I mean, or something.
You like that better?
No, guidance. Okay, then we don't have to worry about a hyphen. All right.
I have no preference.
All right. Do I have enough room for one more line here? I do. What's the reference that you wanted me to reference then, Dana? Because I have room for it now.
Just, it's okay. It's okay, Judy, whatever you guys decide.
No, I mean, I've got room. So,
There was we have the Mass General laws, right, Tony? Is that right?
Yep, and I,
Like the 100 signatures, 200 signatures, etc. And then the 10 signatures, is that covered by Mass General law too?
yep. All three of those signature amounts are are under general law, and I put the citizens guide, I linked the link to that. I put it in the chat so you guys can look that up.
Okay.
so do you want to just reference that? Here is the just Mass General Law section 39, chapter 39, section 10, warrant issue of contents.
You could put as a reference or a resource, you could write Citizens Guide to Town Meetings by Secretary William Francis Galvin.
Secretary, who?
William Francis Galvin.
How do you spell that?
Galvin.
How's that?
You will appreciate it.
Yeah, you will.
All right, so now that we've gotten this, ladies and gentlemen, what do you want to do with it?
Approve it.
Should, excuse me, under resources, should the middle bullet there be indented like that?
Move it.
I think we could
Yep.
just take citizen petition form out.
Yep.
How's that?
If you want to put a third bullet, you could cite the town's general government, town of Nahant. Let me get the language. General government bylaws, and bylaws has a hyphen in between by and laws.
Okay,
Then the bullet that says 200 signatures are required to call a special town meeting. I think it's missing a period. Punctuation there.
thank you.
There
Really
was-
good eye. I mean, really.
There was another one that was missing a period, and I think it ended with the word met. Yep, it's right at the top of the screen right now. Oh, you went by it.
That's there, right there.
There. That
There,
needs-
you got it. Judy, you're good. You're the next secretary.
No, ma'am. No, sir. No, thank you. I'm hiding under my desk. I'm grateful, Julia does this. All right, so I think then, so now that we've got this, and let's say we approve it, then what happens with it?
I move to approve it.
Second,
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Tarmy,
Brown,
Aye.
Sheehan,
aye.
Carmy, I. Warren, no, Vanderslice, sorry.
Aye.
Warren. Are you still with us, Deborah?
Yeah, aye.
Okay, and Zahora?
Aye.
That's everybody.
So where would you like this now?
If you send it to me and Kristen, we can make sure it gets uploaded to your committee landing
Website.
on the website.
All right, I will send that out right this minute to everybody on this.
Judy, can you PDF it too, please, to save it as a PDF rather than Word?
Yeah.
So can I do that? That's a very good question.
Do save as. File save as.
I believe that is an option. I'll be damned. Okay,
that's a really useful thing.
I don't think I do that, but look, it worked. All right, I'll send that right along. I'll do that now. But that doesn't, okay, so are we ready then to move on to a different topic?
Well, the
Yeah,
related topic, and I think it's where you wanted to go, Judy, is what is our policy on recommendations regarding citizens petitions? So
Right.
let me try to clarify the question. It seems like there's every other year or so, there's a citizens petition that pops up. And then there's a committee discussion about, well, do we recommend these things or are we just silent on them? So do we say recommended or not recommended or no recommendation? Typically things that are non-financial and particularly things that are kind of overtly political, we tend to do a no recommendation. Like for a few years in a row, there were warrant articles that someone put in regarding the town meeting would endorse Citizens United or something like that. And we would typically do a no recommendation on them because it's really, it's kind of not within our purview. But there are others where, at least to me, there are some that are, we really should, if there's financial in nature, I think we really should. And then there are others that are kind of in a gray area of, well, do we or don't we? So that's the discussion right now.
Really need a blanket policy, or can we just say we'll treat it case by case?
Well, I mean, I think we are looking for a blanket policy because here's what happens. When you treat it case by case, it looks like we show favoritism. Because some of them are off the wall and some of them are okie dokie. But my off the wall is someone else's is okie dokie. And so without having that kind of parameter, it's really hard. And it's been a struggle since I've been on, which has been now a long time.
Yes.
One time I thought it was written in stone because that's what previous chairs had said. But we found last year that wasn't written in stone and we were just kind of a scramble.
So some of them are clear cut. If they have financial attachment, then those are ones we tend to recommend or not recommend, depending on the situation. And then there are the ones that we just wouldn't even consider, the, like Bob said, the ones that tend to be political or more off topic, let's say, that we just do a no recommendation. And then there are the gray ones, and that's where we have to struggle.
I kind of go back and forth on this. Judy, I see your point, and I haven't been on the committee as long as you have. So you've seen a lot more come through here, but handling it on a case-by-case basis, we could give us some latitude if we wanted to weigh in on a subject or not. And if we say no recommendation, we could just move on.
But I would have to think that if there is financial impact involved, then we would have to consider all of those in the same manner.
Agreed, yeah.
Maybe we start out with a simple, that if there's financial impact involved and there's no source of revenue, we just automatically agree that that's not the only way to move forward with. That makes sense?
So if there's no source of revenue, we do a no recommendation, or?
Right. Oh, no, if like, oh, this is a no recommendation.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing as no, we're not going to recommend.
Right. Yeah, no recommendation is different than not recommended.
Yeah, there's three choices. It's recommend, no recommendation, and
Not recommended.
not recommended or something. And this is the baby is going to be divided a little bit here. It's very hard.
I think it's nice that you just put in those 3 requirements of an article in that document.
Mhm.
And if those 3 requirements aren't met, you have a not recommended. And then you explain that in your book. You say, as written, we can't recommend passage of this article because it either isn't clearly written, it doesn't have a funding source, or I forget what the other bullet was.
Political.
No, that wasn't a bullet in our guidance. It was either it's the scope is clear, there's no source of funds, and no, maybe I'm sorry, maybe it's something different.
I forget what you just put it in that document. I forget what it said now, what the 3 bullets were.
I'll just show you. Hold on a second. These 3, this item to be discussed, clear scope, what actions requested, again, clarity, and the source of funds when the article require funds to execute. I don't think that's quite what we're going for. I think the source of funds one is big.
Right.
That be our only criterion.
So can we say that if there's no source of funds when the article requires fund to execute, we not recommend?
It would be a reason for not.
Right.
Right,
As
but
opposed to no recommendation, that's a not to recommend.
you know, I mean, we as a finance committee, though, we can help by clarifying things that are unclear in the original article. I mean, that is a public service we could provide.
Right, well, but what your hang up was in the past was for citizen petitioned articles that you cannot change the language to until town meeting, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Was whether or not you provided a recommendation on that.
Right.
And so for citizen petitions, if it didn't include a source of funding or if it wasn't clearly written, I think you guys were leaning towards wanting to say not recommended as written, which still allows the opportunity for, floor amendments during a meeting. But when you're putting your book out 14 days ahead of that, you are stuck in a position of, we can't really recommend yes. We don't want to leave it up to zero recommendation. We have to recommend no because this shouldn't pass the way that it's written. And so I think you might have a different set of check boxes for non-citizen petition articles because those, the Board of Selectmen still have the ability to, make changes to those if there's issues and usually you don't run into stuff like that.
Right.
But citizen petition articles, you can't change the language. And I'm just trying to help you guys out, by the way. I'm not a member of the committee. I just
Oh, I
try.
got you. Yeah, thank you. Serious.
Appreciate it, Tony, because it's tricky, right? And because we never really have time to give it thought, when we get to the warrant article part and we're rushing around, we're kind of all aflutter.
So we can have a not recommended as written. That would. No,
You guys have like an explanation in your book.
right,
So, for citizen petitions, if you had a standard checkbox of elements that are, needed in there in order to provide in order for you guys to recommend passage, and it doesn't meet, those checkboxes, you could vote not recommended, and then in your explanation, you can say, while we are open to the idea of this article, or maybe we aren't, or there's some elements here that are worth considering, could use a floor amendment, as written there, this article is missing key,
Yep.
criteria, and we cannot, therefore we recommend, not to pass it as written.
So I've been trying to kind of capture this. So it's what I've captured so far is we would offer a recommendation for certain if the article is financial in nature and it is both clear and complete. We would not recommend it as written if it is either unclear or incomplete.
And no financial, whatever it is.
Right, and we would offer no recommendation
If it is overtly political.
if it, yeah, I'm still not wild about the phrase, but yeah, if it's overtly political and just completely outside of the purview of the finance committee. But that still leaves a whole huge gray area.
That's right.
I don't know that we can call out overtly political, but I think we can say
Citizens
outside of the purview of
United.
the finance committee.
So, maybe a way to proceed would be to start talking about some of the common things that you would see, like it's common to see a warrant article for a bylaw change, or it's common to see an article for, well, a zoning change, I guess, would be a subcategory of bylaw change. So would we offer a citizen's petition on something calling for a bylaw change? That shut him up.
Yeah,
Is that out of scope of the FinCom?
Yeah, it is.
Well, you guys are technically advisory and finance committee.
Which is pretty broad scope.
And let's see here, where did I have that?
Somewhere
The advisory and finance committee's prime responsibility is to make recommendations regarding financial matters, including the budget, in prep for annual town meeting. The advisory and finance committee issues advisories and recommendations on municipal and financial matters on behalf of the taxpayers. So your primary is the financial matters, but non-financial matters do fall under your purview.
All right, so our scope is broader than I remembered. Well, that makes it a bit more of a challenge. Oh, then I think we're back to Deborah in a case by case. As long, if there's financial requirements, that's clear. Anything else is kind of up for grabs.
If we have the ability to explain why, to give a little elaboration of a few sentences about why we're going with no recommendation, not recommended, then maybe we could kind of take a case by case stance, because we'll be able to spell it out a little bit. I mean, we're not just going to give a flat not recommended or no recommendation, are we? We'll say why. Because it's too unclear or whatever.
I guess it,
Under the charter, under advisory and finance committee, under powers and duties, it says the advisory and finance committee shall inform themselves concerning those affairs and interests of the town, the subject matter of which generally is included in the warrants of its town meetings, may consider any and all municipal questions affecting town government and the conduct of town affairs.
wow.
Actually, I like that.
That's certainly, again,
No,
broader scope.
seriously, I mean, what was the first part of the phrase? It's something in the conduct of town affairs?
Here, let me see if I can copy and paste it into the chat.
Wasn't this sort of like the FinCom doesn't comment on citizens' petitions we were trying to get to, but we're getting towards we vote for recommend, not recommend, or no comment. So we're back in a dilemma.
Conduct of town's affairs. Affecting town government and the conduct of town affairs.
So I don't think like you can say for a citizen petition that's non-financial, it's that you guys don't give a recommendation for that. Technically, it is within your purview to give a recommendation on something like that. But if that citizen petition for a bylaw, isn't clearly written, let's say it's non-financial, but it isn't clearly written.
Yep.
You could say, we're not recommending it as written.
Yep.
Needs more work,
Right. But that phrase in there also eliminates all this stuff that Bill and I have kind of been calling overtly political as well, because it doesn't affect town government or the conduct of town affairs. Period. The end. We have no opinion on this. We're neither recommending nor not recommending it. But anything else is fair game.
Anything that does affect town government and the conduct.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not getting us off the hook.
Well, I didn't know. I guess I wasn't intending that it get us off the hook. But I was just trying
Because
to.
that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's okay. See, we're the same. So I would venture to guess that each citizen petition will be voted on as recommended, not recommended, or
No recommendation.
discussion. Yeah, or no recommendation.
I mean, a well
You're not gonna
articulated,
do this.
a well articulated citizen petition, non-financial, that does affect the town government and conduct of town affairs, you should make a recommendation on it. You don't want an out on that. But if it's missing certain elements that, basically prevent you from providing a recommendation, that's where you want the out. That's where you want something to point to say, listen, this article, you can't possibly recommend that this pass as written because it's missing pieces.
Right.
But besides just saying not recommended, recommended or whatever, can we say a little bit of something about why?
Yes.
Okay, well, then that's,
In your report, in the book, it'll say you have an explanation there that you put
right,
under.
right.
Yep.
So it's just like anything, any of the other things. So,
Right.
so that's why I don't think we really need to get too specific in our overarching policy, because how can we possibly cover all the
Variable.
So actually, a thought just popped in my head that is not entirely on topic, but I want to get it out before I lose it. In our one-page guide, should we have mentioned that the petitioner should be prepared to come and speak with the finance committee regarding their article?
There isn't any requirement for that.
No, there's
We
no
did-
requirement for it,
we
but
did- we did
if
say
you want
that
the
it makes
article
sense
passed,
to-
it would be helpful to do so.
Yeah, we did say, well, I'll show you, we did say that it makes sense to,
Start early.
yeah, well, we did say that, but we also said, hold on, move that out of the way. We did say that before starting the petition process, we recommend you meet with the board or town committee as applicable to the subject to give feedback, advice, and support. It may be noted the issue be taken up driven by the board or committee as a warrant article. So we're telling them to go seek advice from the people who have the topic expertise.
I think instead of saying town committee capitalized, we should say, or the appropriate town committee. Or this sounds as if there's just one town committee. See what I'm saying?
Just eliminate the word town.
Or yes, with the board or a committee. mean, it's not necessarily our committee, it could be the Concom, right?
How about or applicable committee?
Yeah, perfect.
Or
Relevant.
Or committee. All right, the only thing is we've approved these already and I sent them out, so we'll have to reapprove. So does that do it, Bob?
Yep, that does it. Well, does it do it? I'm kind of trying to say, you know, come and speak to the finance committee about your article. Because we can help. Yeah. Yeah.
About that.
You need a, aye.
Advisory and Finance Committee, other way around. Just for the proper title, sorry, not to nip.
No, that's good.
Okay.
Really, I should know that. If it was earlier in the day, I'd be embarrassed. Advisory and Finance Committee and/or relevant committee as applicable to the subject to gain feedback, advice, and/or support.
What's the relevant? Nah. Okay,
Right?
so, all right, so back to the, should we quickly reapprove this one? Now that we made minor
Yes.
work.
Yes.
All right.
So can we just amend the last motion to pick up version 2 of this?
Okay.
I make a motion that we amended the last motion to use version 2 of this.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, Julie, you're on.
Brown,
Aye.
Sheehan,
Aye.
Charmy, I, Vanderslice,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
Zahora.
Aye.
Okay,
Judy, you're a GIMP user as well. Wow.
That's funny. Yeah. All right.
All right, so back to, so what I'm hearing, I'm just gonna try to move us along here, is that our policy is that we will offer a recommendation on all citizens petitions and then pick up the phrase from what Tony pasted in the chat, all citizens petitions affecting town government and the conduct of town affairs. We will not, as a policy, we will not recommend any citizen petition that is unclear or incomplete. And, or, you know, until such time as it, you know, till such time as those, whatever deficits are fixed.
Right. So by the time we get it, then in that case, it's too late for them to change.
Right.
So they can't make any updates after the 31st of January.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they can do it on the floor.
They can do it on the floor.
All
okay.
right.
And I think in the past, I've seen some of our recommendations that say, you know, as written, this thing is terrible. We understand that the petition will, on town meeting floor, do this, that, or the other thing. And if they do, then we would,
Reconsider.
yeah, or, yeah. And I'm not trying, I don't want to put words in.
In other words, we didn't get a general policy. We're going to do individual things.
Well, yeah, I mean, that all of them, you do have to do them on a case-by-case basis, but this is the policy we're going to apply to each of the cases.
Yeah, I thought that we were trying to get a general policy, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I don't know. Can we get any better than our policy is? Does it affect town government? Yes or no? If yes, we offer an opinion. If no, we don't. Does it affect the conduct of town affairs? Yes or no? Is it clear and complete?
Does that come from the town charter? Or the bylaws?
I think it comes from,
The charter, what I posted in the chat comes from the charter.
Okay. I'm comfortable with that. That's kind of like the constitution of the town in a way. Just so.
Mr. Chairman, have we completed our agenda?
So can you just run through the one more time, Bob, and then do we have to vote on it?
probably should, and part of me says, we ought to include that in that one pager somehow. But we can save that till next meeting. But what we're saying is we're gonna adopt the language and the policy as spelled out in the bylaws. So, does it affect town government? If yes, we offer a recommendation, either recommended or not recommended. Or does it affect the conduct of town affairs? And if yes, we offer a recommendation. If it doesn't meet either of those two tests, we offer no recommendation. And anything for which we are going to offer a recommendation, we will not recommend if it is unclear or incomplete.
Or has no financial
Sure.
source?
I think that falls under incomplete.
Yeah, that to me, that would be exactly.
And I would suggest that be a separate document. Your first document is like a citizen's guide. This document is more of your committee policy.
All right, so why don't I do this? Why don't I take as homework trying to put that in a more digestible form? And we can vote on it next meeting.
Okay,
How did we vote on Judy's thing that's been revised again?
We did.
I thought we
did that.
did.
Yep. we
Okay.
did that.
You voted in favor, so yeah.
Okay.
All right, I have to leave in 4 minutes.
Good.
You are welcome to continue without me.
no,
I
I
move
move to adjourn.
to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Roll call.
Aye.
All right,
Hold on. Brown?
Julie, you got to do it.
Yes, Brown.
Sheehan,
Aye.
Charmy, aye. Vanderslice,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
Zahora.
Aye. Hey, listen, guys, thank you very much. This is the first time I recall sitting down and talking about this sort of thing. This is great.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Judy, for all your work.
Thank you, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. All right, have a good night.
You're the
Thank
next
you.
secretary, you know that.
No. Julie's
Yes.
tied up.
I'm secretary for another thing, so what?
All right, I'm leaving now. Bye, guys. Take care.
Night, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Night.
Thanks, Tony.